So I'm gonna recommend that you never do a YouTube video, a social media post, and for surely not a sales meeting without this one thing. I'm Dr. Dan, and if you've followed any of my content, you know that I'm a brain guy. And so if you like the neuroscience, if you like the research, if you like things that are reproducible, even if you're an introvert or even if you're shy, you are gonna love this one. And I'm just gonna recommend, if you kind of like the content I'm putting out or stuff like this, I would be honored if you pass this along. And I believe this video will really help somebody that you know. So here's the deal. When you break down how the brain is wired and the different parts of the brain that, one, receive information, but two, actually process that information, you realize the worst part of communication for most people is they think they're doing it. But it's one thing to say something, it's another thing for people to receive it. And if you're putting a YouTube video out, doing a social media post, or by all means you're trying to sell something, you gotta know how the brain is wired to make decisions. It's called behavioral science. And I gotta tell you, I have created a lot of content without assessing the most important aspect of whether or not that content's gonna land. In fact, I have put out numerous videos. I even challenged myself on this. I wanna make sure you get this point across. I've put out a lot of content without this ingredient because I was trying to look for the fancy way to say it. I had the stats right, I had the research right, I had my points I wanted to make. I even used the power of story, which, you know me, I've written an entire book, How to Build Trust, and it happens through story. Facts tell, stories sell. I know this, I've known this. And so it wasn't that I left that out, I put that in. But there's still a main ingredient that will be the difference maker for your content, or your ability to persuade somebody, or your ability to create influence in a noisy world. There's no doubt people are being inundated by content. It has been said that 100 years ago, today, 100 years ago, the amount of information that people received in a lifetime, they get in 10 minutes today. 10 minutes. So what does the brain have to do? The majority of the brain has to shut down. So how do you get your content in front of them so they'll pay attention to it? Well, like I said, I have learned the hard way. 93% of communication is nonverbal. So only 7% is your words, 38% is your tone, and 55% is your body language. What is your facial expressions? What are your shoulders? What does your posture say? All these have huge impact on the brains of your prospects. Another book that comes to mind was written by a guy named Emoto. And the title of the book was called The Hidden Messages in Water. And what they did is they took water and they froze it so they could see how it crystallized. And they looked at it under microscopes. On the outside of the glass, they would put the word love, or they would put the word hate, or they would expose the water crystals to good, soft, soothing music compared to hard rock. And they would assess the water crystals. Now, the last we knew, water crystals can't hear, and they can't see. Yet when they looked at these water crystals under microscopes, they found out, depending on the words or the type of music that this water was exposed to, the crystals took on a representation of what they were exposed to. I can't sit here and try to explain to you how it happened. I don't know. And to be honest, I sometimes throw up my arms and be like, I don't know. I can't even begin to think of how this happened. Here's what I do know, is it happens. Words and communication carry a vibration. And so I have flopped at a lot of videos, especially videos and content that I thought I did well. I have flopped in a lot of sales calls, or a lot of sales meetings, or a lot of report of findings as a doctor. I have failed, meaning they've said no. I didn't build trust. I didn't get a bond. I didn't build value. They said I can't afford it. They said I'm not gonna do it. They didn't follow. I didn't get their attention. And the main reason why is your communication comes from the inside out. It's not a heady thing. It's a heart thing. And I know that sounds a little bit weird to some of you.
Like what we talk about, I thought this was a neuroscience channel. I thought you go based on research and evidence and science.
I do, but I'm here to tell you, and you've all experienced this before. You don't even know exactly what you said, but people followed you. They paid attention. And then there's times when you knew exactly what you said and had it outlined perfectly, and you did it, but people didn't follow. They didn't pay attention. They scrolled by. They said no. They didn't pay you. There's a reason why. That reason why is what experts call enthusiasm, passion. This passion inside you, when you know you have something that other people need to know, I'm telling you right now, they feel that. It's indescribable. It's actually immeasurable. I remember when I started my first business, I was shy, I was introverted, but I was passionate and I was knowledgeable about what I had, and I knew the people that I was speaking to needed what I had. And I just rant and raved about it. It wasn't pretty, didn't sound the greatest. I wasn't like a spokesperson or a politician. I was just emotional, I was passionate. And I knew that what I had, they needed, and that's the thing. The reason why I've had things that flopped is because I was trying to sound too pretty. I was trying to manufacture this versus no, I know. And so the three things that I have dialed down before I ever do a video or do a sales call or do some sort of social media post is I'm thinking, who is it that I'm trying to talk to? Number one. Number two is, why do they need what I'm talking about? And number three, and this is the biggest one, is what happens if they don't get it? Like here on this video, if you don't get this content that I'm putting out, if you don't get this message that I'm laying out for you, then you're gonna be led to believe that if I just make my messages a little more pretty, if I can just look a little prettier, if I could just have a nicer shirt, if I just comb my hair the right way, they'll listen. I'm telling you right now, your communication transmits electrons. It is physical and it's metaphysical. If you study vibration or if you study sound waves or light waves, there is a physicality and a metaphysical, meaning it's above physical. It's not just physical, but it is physical. And so when you communicate, you put off a physicality. The question is, what physicality are you putting out? And are they feeling it? Are they not just hearing it? Are they feeling it? I put out a lot of messages. I've been in a lot of situations where I was just trying to intellectualize why they should pay attention to me, why they should value what I'm saying, and why they should buy what I'm selling. That'll get you in a load of trouble if it's not partnered with this deep down feeling, this emotion, this passion that you really know they need what you have, and what you have, you're not trying to prove it, you're not trying to get validation from them, you know the truth is the truth is the truth, and that they feel and know you need it. And here's the thing, how do you do this? What's the shortest cut to this? Here's what it is. Really believe what you have. Really know its value, really know its worth, and when you turn on the camera, when you get in front of them, they feel that. But when you're talking on a phone, not a Zoom call, not a video chat, a phone call, they can't see you. Your communication is only 14% words, meaning the effectiveness of your communication or the impact of your communication is only coming from your words at 14%. 86% of the communication or the influence you're gonna have, it comes from your tone of voice. So what is that, right? There's an energy that's coming out of you. The old adage, fake it till you make it, will get you in so much trouble, especially in today's environment where there's reviews and people can go online and experience what they experience from you. You don't wanna do that. I'll leave you with this. If you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, don't ever do a video or a sales call or even any social media post or trying to influence or trying to get somebody to pay attention without this thing. What's that thing? It's your big why. It's your deep conviction. It's your belief, because people feel that. Simon Sinek wrote a book called Start With Why, and he showed how the biggest companies and businesses and movements of our time and people, the MLKs, the Apples, the JFKs, these people had a deep conviction about what they know to be true, and they literally were able to transfer that conviction to the listener, to the watcher, to the viewer, to the follower. If you're a business owner, it's not about doing business with everybody who needs what you have. It's about doing business with people who believe what you believe. And when you start to understand a little bit more about the brain, which is what this channel is all about, showing you the brain science to help you communicate, create more influence, more impact, and scale your company or your business. If you're a business owner, when you understand this, you can reproducibly get better results. Being you, being more yourself. But what we know about the brain is it needs a catalyst. It needs a mechanism. It needs something that your listeners can grab a hold of and say, I want to go see what they're doing. And we take our clients through our catalyst creation, or what we call catalyst consulting, to help them build the greatest catalyst to have the greatest impact on the brain. If you need help with that, click the link below. We'd love to talk to you. Here's what I'll tell you, is that it's important in business to not only attract the right people, but to repel the right people. When you start with why, you will not only attract the right people, but you will repel the right people to grow the business the way you need it to be grown, which is serving the people that you love to serve. I'm not looking for validation. I know this is a truth that goes deep, deep down. And when you study the science of the neuroscience and the brain science, you start to realize, man, I've had that experience. How can I better create content or create a persuasive sales model where people actually listen and they respond and they pay? There's a way to do that. And it's not about what's up here. It's about what's here. If you need help with that, let me know. We'll see you on the next one. Dr. Dan, I'm out.